What is going on, everyone? What's going on? If you guys can go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, would appreciate it. We're waiting on Jaden to join. So there's that. All right. Oh, man. What's going on? Why can't you just live and let live, despite the fact that Republicans are trying to legislate literally everything and everyone? They're not trying to live and let live. You guys can hop on in the box if you want to debate. Be scared and stay in the chat there. It's okay. What's up, Jaden?
How's it going?
You fucking Republicans are stupid. They are stupid. It's like this is the equivalent of Trump supporters, Donald Trump right now. It's like an abusive. You're in an abusive relationship, and the ex goes, the abuser goes, "I'll change," and they go, oh, "I knew it. I knew you would. I knew it."
See, he does love me.
He does love me. He knows.
He stopped hitting me.
He stopped hitting me. I mean, he's not. Listen, he was giving it 145% force. Now he's only giving it 30% force. So if you think about it, it's like, wow, what a relationship.
It's still costing families what, $2,300 each year.
28.
28, yeah.
28. This guy's way too defensive. Why'd you steal that fucking shirt from Mr. Rogers?
Why, hello there, children.
Good Lord. Give your sister a shirt back. If you're debating in the box, if you're not, please hop out. Would appreciate it. They have nothing. And I'm just pointing out, Donald Trump looks like he's laundering money out of Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
If you
that's fine.
I mean, you said Hunter Biden was laundering money. There was no evidence whatsoever. Now we have Donald Trump getting a $600 million jet. How could we not say that that's laundering?
Fine. I have to think if Joe Biden or Hunter Biden received a gift of that size from Ukraine, what would the response be? They'd impeach him. They'd impeach his son.
Yeah.
He'd find a way.
Yep, they'd file impeachment. Yep. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's so blatant, even Republicans are doing it. Even Republicans are saying it's criminal. Now you care. Yeah, we care about actual crimes that are being committed.
How's that a false comparison?
Not these fucking made-up ones in your fucking mind. They're so dumb. They're like, now you care. You didn't care when Hunter and Joe Biden... They didn't do it. There's no evidence that they did it. Y'all just made it the fuck up. And now when there's actual dollar figures, you're like, no, I can't.
Well,
but yeah,
okay.
if Ukraine gifted the Bidens, even in an official capacity, a $600 million jet, you'd lose your mind. You would lose your fucking mind.
Of course he rejected.
JD, you're scared. It's okay. You see how many people are scared right now?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them.
How is the Chinese...
Yeah.
Why do people ask this? How is the China trade deal bad? Because we're paying 30% more for our shit.
It's also not a trade deal.
It's not a trade deal.
People don't understand. It's a tariff deal, not a trade deal.
Trump literally backed down. He gave us... This is crazy. We didn't start at zero, but we started with less tariffs. And then he goes, we're going to tack on 145%. We're like, fuck. And he goes, oh, okay, no, we're just going to tack on 30%. And you guys are like, yeah, only 30%. Woo! Like, that's fucking stupid. That's not a fucking win. It's not a win. Instead of having to pay, what is it? $14,000 a year in fucking... Would it be? It'd probably be about that much. It'd be 3, 4, whatever 28 times 4 is. So yeah, it'd be like $12,000 to $14,000 in extra shit just on tariffs. What were we paying before 30%? Not 30%. I don't know what Chinese goods were tariffed at. It was really low though. A few percentage points. You sound like CNN. You don't sound like Fox News where they're making shit up on a regular and pulling it out of their ass. Oh, I thought it was on the right video. There we go. Anyways, if you guys are debating, go ahead and hop in the box. Would appreciate it. This roller coaster isn't over. No, it's not. It's a 90-day pause. But what's interesting is that What they're like, Donald Trump's getting a deal. He's getting deals done. And what's happening is he's going down this, he's not getting deals done. He's going down this whole charade of bullshit. Because I'm going to be real, they're going to forget about UK. They got too many other countries to worry about. But
Oh yeah.
they go down this whole fucking thing, right? Of like, we're going to antagonize and shit disturb and change the entire economic order of Earth. And then it's going to work out for Americans. Going down the entire route where he jacks tariffs up, jacks other people off, and then ends up in the same fucking position that he was in, or that we were in, but with higher taxes. That's not a win. That's not a win. You don't win. That's not a win. For him to be like, oh, we literally, and I said this was going to happen. He's going to go down the entire, I've been saying this for a long time. He's going to go down the route of finding out this doesn't work, and he's going to reverse course. Or he's not going to reverse course.
There really isn't a consistent argument with the stock market either. That $9 trillion wiped out over the last 2 months is okay, but now that it's bounced back as a response to him reversing his bad policy, that too is okay.
Someone said, what do you spend all day on TikTok spewing hate? Shut the fuck up. I'm not spewing hate for me to point out that you guys are dumb. But the long-term economic decline from these tariffs are going to be substantial. I don't know what the short term is going to be, but if you think 30% tariffs on Chinese goods, nothing, plus 10%, yeah. So you're going to have, literally whenever you go out to buy consumer goods, you're going to be looking at, more money. There's a 10% tariff on goods. I don't know what the overhead's going to be or what they're going to charge you. Most usually, I mean, it depends on the product. Like if it's larger products, more expensive project, they usually charge more. If it's smaller products, they usually don't get as much profit off of them. But I don't know, you're going to pay more, $2,800 a year in tariffs. So that means $2,800 less buying stuff. That means $2,800 less going to a company within the United States. That means less money going to a truck driver moving that stuff. That means people make less money. How long is that going to take to set in? I don't know. We'll see. But it's not going to be good. Really not. So. Anyway. If you are debating, hop on in the box. Would appreciate it. If you're not, please hop in. When do you start the live stream? So we started at 9 a.m. Pacific. And usually go for an hour. Sometimes Jaden joins us, sometimes not. Sometimes other people join us. Just depends. But it's interesting. They like everything that we have told, or that here's the deal. Everything that I've said, Sarah, appreciate the corgi. Thank you. Everything that I have said on this show in terms of Trump going full circle and finding out why he can't do shit is happening. It's happening. The China trade deal is not a trade deal. They just fucking paused tariffs because Trump backed down. That was pretty much it. So tariffs are both good. They're also bad. They're also used as a bargaining chip. And none of those are true in this situation. It was not used as a bargaining chip. We didn't get anything for it or from it. Period. We didn't get anything from it. Nothing. Nothing out of that deal.
This isn't a long-term sustainable deal here. It's a concession deal.
Why does he need to keep pausing it? I don't understand.
We'll be back to where it is.
This guy said reported for misinformation. I thought you loved free speech. You hate free speech.
No.
You're a fascist. Love free speech. Don't they? Someone want to hop in the box and debate? Like, there's so many people that are chirping. Misinformation is not free speech, so Donald Trump should be fucking banned then, right? Donald Trump should be banned for telling over 30,000 lies. Right?
Well, no.
Right? By the way, you're arguing that misinformation is free speech. That's what the right argues all the time. They literally argued it in court cases. Fox News did. Anytime they get sued for defamation, it's exactly what they argue.
No.
You should be banned. See, they love free speech. It's fucking crazy. Steven, go ahead and join. You're getting blocked. They love free speech. Isn't that crazy? Love free speech. I told you. So here's the thing. Republicans don't love free speech. They're fascist. They hate free speech. They hate everything about it. All they care about is being able to use their speech. They don't care whether or not it's classified as speech, just as long as anytime you bring it up and say something about what they're saying, they can go, well, it's free speech. They hate free speech, though. They target people all the time. Trump is targeting ABC, targeting NBC, targeting different pollsters, targeting different people throughout the media. And the Republicans praise him when he does it. You spelled "your" wrong.
Oh, of course.
This is actually pretty interesting, though, right? Is that there's so many people, like JD is doing wow wow, and he's literally crying in the comment section. Literally crying in the comment section.
You've got to be a good little sheep.
There 80% decrease in pharmaceuticals. They'll literally just believe anything.
Yep.
They'll literally just believe anything.
Yeah, and that one recent veterans executive order that he did, he claimed that he's created housing for 8,000 veterans or some shit. Doesn't do that, but okay.
No, they just
Weird
make
that they
shit up.
applaud him for all the progressive policies.
I know. And then they're like, Kamala would never have done those. And this is exactly like,
Right.
he's just like proposing the same shit Kamala was. You know what I mean?
It's funny,
Listen,
isn't it?
you guys are fucking annoying me. Someone join to
Wait,
debate.
here we go.
Jesus Christ. You guys are fucking just crying in the comment section. It's fucking painful. Grow a pair and debate. So many fucking criers. Tom,
Hey,
what's
are you
up?
driving?
Well, I got a few things to say, but I can get into a debate if you want. I not really here. I'm just letting you know the biggest problem that you kind of have right now is when you demonize people on the other side, it makes people just think you're crazy. Nobody's going to
Is
take
that
your point
not?
seriously.
Is that not what Republicans do?
Really
No, hey,
quick,
brother, I'm a
really
centrist.
quick.
I'm a
If
yeah,
I
sure.
point out what they're doing wrong and why it's bad, I don't think that's demonization. I don't think it's
Well, when
demonization
you
to
just go
point out how
when you hop
awful
on
their
your
policies
soapbox of
are.
400 when you hop on your soapbox of 400 people and you just go, "Oh, all Republicans are fascist." Nobody's going to take you seriously.
I don't think all Republicans are fascists.
You
I never
literally
said
just
all
said that,
Republicans.
dude.
I've said
You
MAGA's
just okay. You didn't
fascist.
say all, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but they largely support fascist beliefs. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to tell you?
I
It's not even.
firmly
It's not even
disagree
for
with that.
debate.
If the
It's
Nazi
what do you
boots
disagree?
fit.
What? Disagree with what? What part of that do you
I don't
disagree
think
with?
generally like even a large
Okay,
majority of Republicans support fascist
cool.
views.
All right, cool. Do they believe in returning America to a time of previous greatness?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of criticism for the Republican Party.
Cool.
Don't
That
get
would
me
be a
wrong.
fascist tenet. That's a fascist tenet. Cool. Do they scapegoat migrants?
Yeah, for the most
Yeah,
part.
that's a fascist tenet. Cool. So we got two of them. Let's keep going. Uh, do they believe in largely like? Are they against feminine or feminism?
Well, here's the thing: you kind of pigeonholing all Republicans
I'm
into
not.
this
I'm not
one.
No,
really
So I
quick. I'm
know,
just asking you. Generally speaking, you've agreed that
machismo.
they. I'm not pigeonholing them. You've agreed that they believe in those two things. So I'm still. I'm just going. Do they
again,
target
it's just like the
schools?
general consensus, sure, but
That's not a. But that's not pigeonholing. If I ask you if that's the general Republican belief, and you say yes,
okay, just go on with the 14 tenets of fascism.
I'm not going on with the 14. I'm going with a whole bunch of different ones. But we could agree that toxic masculinity. That's a problem. There's anti-feminism.
Yeah,
There's a tax against. You just stop me when I'm wrong. There's a tax against schools and arts and institutions. They're targeting basic rights. They're against like have a
Media companies.
complete disdain for human rights globally. Right. So all of these
yeah.
things we can, and it's not that they don't check a single. They check all of them. Obsession with national security. List goes on. You want to go to other different definitions by different. That's the same thing.
Sorry, I'm
Nationalism.
thinking.
List goes on. They support fascism. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. There's not a tenet that they do not check of
I
any,
just
like literally
I
any
guess
definition.
my biggest problem with content creators using the big fascist word is then you see, when you're driving by, you see the city hall protests, and you see people holding up signs against like him with Hitler or Mussolini, and I think that's blatantly you're putting him into a box where kind of watering down the severity of what those other fascist leaders did. And I don't think
No, yeah. I
No.
think you're right. I think, he may be a disastrous, lying,
he is.
narcissistic
I have a
murderer,
lot of problems
but
with him,
he's
but it's
no
just
Donald Trump.
Yeah, so just because, number one, it's not that I think that those other people are put in a box with Trump. It's that I think Trump is in that box with those people.
I don't
And
think
he
so.
would do
I
a
don't
lot.
think it's
In
really
what
that
way?
bad.
In what way?
I don't think he's. I don't think.
They
I
thought the
just don't
same
think
thing
it's.
about
It's a,
thought the same thing about Germany. Thought the same thing about Italy. What is not matching up here? What part of Donald Trump? What does he do that doesn't match up
I
with
don't think he's
fascism?
committing mass genocide. I don't. I don't think it's on the. It's the same level
You
as
don't think he's
Mussolini,
committing
Mao,
It
mass
doesn't
Stalin.
happen
genocide?
overnight.
Well, I
No,
just
I
want
don't.
to
I mean,
point
he's
No,
out.
disappeared U.S. citizens.
I just want to
it's
point out
okay.
Italy arrested people and they sent people off to the Germans. They did not do a mass extinction campaign. So you saying that that's
I'm
part and
sorry,
parcel is not true.
wait, did you say the Germans?
I said the Italians.
Oh, okay, Mussolini. Gotcha.
And
Is
just to point
genocide my
out,
red line? Yeah, it should be. I mean, there's a lot of other red lines, but genocide is definitely one. I just don't think putting him in that box is going to help any kind of a. I mean, that's. I think like large in part that is why the Democrats lost in
do you
2024 is because
think
everybody
do you
was kind of sick of boxing him and having this extremist take of putting him
Well,
in the
then
same
why
category.
did Republicans win, as they called Democrats radical Marxist,
Well,
fascist,
again,
communists?
I think that's an extremist point on the right as well, just saying that. But
Okay.
again, it goes both ways. I don't know.
I mean, there's more in line with fascistic tendencies than there are Marxism on the left.
Yeah, no, I can agree to that.
Okay.
Again,
so
I'm
you're just
not.
saying like I'm
I,
demonizing like nothing that emerged in terms of horrific conduct throughout the 1930s and 40s emerged on day 1 or month 2 or month 3. It took years to do. It took years.
I
So
just
why
think
would we not
generally,
be? And when we're talking about Germany, like pre genocide, we're not that far off. We're really not. He's already talking about creating camps. He's already talking about sending people off to random ass places, right?
well,
They're
I
already
mean,
talking about getting rid of due process. We're already in a
Habeas
constitutional
corpus.
crisis. He's already trying to
look,
find a way to break down our legal system in this country.
really, I'm not a big fan of the man. I assure you, I didn't vote for him. I have a lot of I do agree with some of his policies. I think the mental gymnastics that go into finding any way to be upset with every single one of his policies is kind of crazy. But
I don't have mental.
overall, yeah.
What mental gymnastics are we making? I don't know what mental gymnastics you're talking about. He doesn't have good
I mean,
policies.
okay, so the tariffs are largely the worst thing in the world. Obama did it in 2012, and it was
Nobody has done
praised.
this. Nobody has done
Not
this.
okay, not retaliatory, but
Well, they
the
No,
weren't
way
nobody
like that
global.
has
was the big.
done
They
blanket.
weren't
Nobody has
blanket.
done blanket tariffs. Nobody has done blanket tariffs.
Sure, okay, but and again, like you guys have said, it's not an overnight thing. I don't think it's going to be overnight, but like, okay, Vietnam has tanked their tariffs. We are their largest customer. They've tanked it. Like that is just one example of 100 countries that are already
They
having
had an
diplomatic talks with
accumulative.
us.
They had an accumulative 3% tariffs on our imported goods, something like that. It
It's
was
just not
low,
true.
and
It was
just
not true.
it is
It was
true.
like forty
Yeah.
percent, dude.
No, it wasn't. That was a made up number. That has to do with the
It was
trade deficit. That's
okay.
what the numbers Trump told showed.
That's
The numbers
what.
Trump showed
That's
you are not the tariffs they have against us. The
how
numbers
does a
that
trade
Trump
deficit
showed are not the
happen?
tariffs. Those are trade deficits.
How does a trade deficit happen?
You buy
Just
more
because a
from
country
someone than
doesn't
you
patently
sell to them.
and okay. I didn't want to. I don't want to like. Okay, I'm sorry for wasting your time. I don't want to like debate or anything. I just
Oh,
my
okay.
general problem is if you want people to take you seriously, especially the
I
large
don't.
majority of
It's.
Trump voters
I
who
don't
aren't like
care.
true Republicans,
I don't care. You're
you
telling
don't.
me you're like coming in here and tone policing me on how I'm supposed to show to people like, hey, this is a fascist regime that's hell bent on overthrowing our constitution. I don't think I need to be like, oh, why don't you make it a little more presentable? I don't really think I have to do
Well, it's
that.
just not fucking. It's not. It's not. You're just being polarizing and edgy.
I'm not being polarizing. I'm pointing out what the fucking Republicans are doing to date. You
Okay,
still
but
have
then you're
not
putting
given
them.
me a
You're
single.
putting
You
them
still have
again.
not
That's
given
just
me a
that's
single
just like
thing that Trump
that's
has done.
pigeonholing.
That it's not pigeonholing. You said this is true. You said it's true. You said it is a
All
truism of the right that they believe in this.
right.
That's
I'm
not
saying like
pigeonholing.
I'm saying patented Trump supporters. Yes, I agree with you, but I think the majority of people who voted for Trump still find a lot of what he's doing problematic.
I
Maybe
don't.
even
Doesn't
regretting their vote.
matter.
But when you put him in that, when you slam on people and try to
When
shame
you
them,
point it out, that they're
no, well,
following the
okay, pointing
fascist
it out is one
tendencies.
thing if you're going to have like a legitimate dialogue and be like, I find this problematic. But if you just called it people, who didn't really like Kamala, bad people,
I
I
mean, if
think
you
that's what,
voted
and
for a
that's
rapist, you're
polarizing.
a bad person. If you showed
I
support
didn't.
for a
I didn't.
rapist, you're a bad
I
person.
didn't
I don't know
say
what
you.
more I need to tell you. I don't care if you voted or not, but you're talking about Republicans. If you voted for a rapist and a criminal, you're a bad person. You're just not a good person. And there's no argument with that. Period.
I had, no, I just think that both candidates were very problematic, and I think that
No, they
people,
weren't. No, they weren't.
yes,
What
they
was wrong
were,
with
dude.
Kamala? So you're saying that graping someone, committing persistent fraud for 50 years, being a felon, literally having multiple different indictments with an insane amount of evidence against you're saying that that's somehow comparable to anything Kamala's done. And you don't see why, like, what the fuck? You don't see why I think that you're problematic when you're sitting here going, well, look, they're both the same. They're not. You're not a good person if you think that grape is the same thing as anything Kamala's done. Those aren't equal.
Oh, I mean, like the legalized slavery and shit that Kamala was doing. I don't think that was really great.
What?
I'm not
What are
happy
you
about that.
talking
What are you
about?
talking
Dude,
about?
she held thousands of prisoners beyond their fucking prison
No, she
sentence.
did not.
Yes, she
No, she
did, dude.
didn't. You
Nope,
can't.
this is
This
a
was
You
Fox
literally
recorded.
News talking
can't
point.
do
Oh
it. You
my
literally
god, this was
cannot.
no,
You
literally
literally
said true.
cannot
It's
do
been
that.
she
Show
did
you.
it. She
Show
held
us.
them
You
past their
can't
prison
do
date for free
it.
fucking labor.
Show us.
It is a quick Google. I'm just telling you something. I don't have burden
All
of
right,
proof just
let's
because I'm
Google
using
it.
an example.
Let's Google it.
That's your claim.
It was a huge conspiracy
A
that they
theory.
tried to shove
Conspiracy
under
is
the
the key
rug.
word.
In summary, Harris did not extend beyond what was legally mandated. However, her
No,
office
she
did
condoned.
argue her
Hey,
office did argue against some early releases, which sparked debate about the role of inmate labor and a broader approach to criminal justice. She did not advocate for longer sentences or push longer sentences because you can't. You can't do that.
Okay, it was like the assistant to the attorney general of California that she condoned this. This happened. Thousands of people complained about it. It was a huge thing.
Show me where,
no
because
direct evidence. Harris
What it
didn't
show-
personally order prisoners past sentences. The CDCR under Governor Brown managed prison operations, and Harris' office defended state policies and required by her role as AG. The 2014 filing, as prepared by Deputy AG, and Harris claimed ignorance on the labor argument, which is plausible given the office's size of 5,000 plus employees.
Sure,
You
appreciate
want
the
me to?
5. Thank you. Denialism.
You want me to?
I'm sorry.
I don't
In
want
no
to.
way. Listen, no, we're done with this. In no way, shape, or form is this even remotely comparable to graping someone. Advocating against early release is not the same thing. Period. And if you think it is, you have such a broken fucking moral compass that it makes sense you're a
Sure,
centrist.
that's fair. Let me find the link really
Yeah.
quick. And I'll come
I
back.
just want to point out really, by all means, I just want to point out really quick that the road to fascism is paved with centrists. It's paved with people like you. I know you think it's funny. Look at what you're doing. You're sitting here defending a rapist, defending fascism, defending it in every capacity, and saying that I'm crazy for pointing that out. You're adopting the gaslighting bullshit nature of it and saying you're the problem for pointing it out. And that's some narc shit. That's some narc shit.
Narc shit.
That is some narc shit. To be like, no, you're the problem for pointing it out. That's fucking crazy.
Complaining about you pointing it out. That was never my point.
What?
They never complained about you pointing it out. I just think you're taking it to an extreme, or you're putting
I'm
everybody.
not
in this
taking it
box
to
who
an
voted for
extreme.
it.
Has anything
That is
that I've
literally an
said not
extreme.
been accurate? Has anything I said been inaccurate?
I mean, kinda.
Name
Because let me
something I've
just
said
say,
that's been. Can you name something I've said that's been inaccurate?
because you're combining Republicans with MAGA supporters.
Can you tell
No,
me
it says
something I've said
MAGA.
that's been inaccurate? That doesn't
Like,
apply
that's
to
what I literally just
Republicans.
said.
That doesn't apply to Republicans. That doesn't apply to MAGA equally.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you are
Okay, then
conflating
you
two different
cannot
groups of
say.
people, and you're
I don't
demonizing
think
them.
I'm conflating them because they're both agreeing to the same thing and the same guy with the
No,
same
they're not.
policies and they're both
There
defending
are
it. Yes,
plenty
they
of
are.
Republicans that are there are plenty of Republicans that also identify this as fascism and have a problem with it. Plenty.
Okay, and
And when
I
you
know
group
those
them together,
Republicans, and it's a tiny percentage, and I wouldn't
I
say that
disagree with
those are
that.
part of it. But you pointing to the very small percentage, which by the way is like less than 5%, I have a real problem with you being like, well, yeah, it's not fascist because like 5% of Republicans that voted for fucking Kamala don't support this. That's fucking insane. So, in other
It's
words, nothing that I've said is wrong. You just don't like that I'm pointing it out, which brings me back to
I
my
have no
point of
problem
some
with
Nork
anybody
shit.
pointing it out. That is not
With
a
some Nork
problem. You
shit.
just you
Right, I
you
know.
saying that
Just
it's
tone
this
your just
tiny
I don't like how you
5%.
say it. I just don't like how you say it. I
Don't
don't
like
like how
how I
you
say it.
point it out. How dare you
All
point
right.
it out in a way I don't agree with? How dare you say stuff in a way I don't agree with? I can't believe you would do that. What do you mean you're not pointing it out in the way I think it should be done? That's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're
I,
doing.
I just think it is polarizing the way you are
Listen, I
talking about
heard what you
Republicans, and it
said. I don't like the way you said it. So go try
okay.
again.
Well, what's a better way to talk? Let me know, please. I'm
I'm
listening.
literally fucking with you.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I again, I think it makes it harder for people to want to give you the rational time to listen to what you have to say when you group a
Because
bunch
I
of
point
people up
out
in
the
this.
truth. Nothing I have
No,
said
there's
is
nothing problem
wrong.
with that, man. There's
Nothing
nothing.
I've said's
There's
been
no.
wrong. But just really quick, nothing I've said's been wrong.
No, absolutely
Then
not.
why are you arguing?
Because my argument is when you just say like Republicans are fascist. I and that doesn't. I would say MAGA is fascist. That is the point I would come from.
What do Republicans support that they don't support MAGA on?
There's plenty of things that they disagree on as
Okay,
far as
go
like
ahead.
the like overreach of power, like the like removing due process is very against republicanism.
And there's how many people are calling it for again? How many people are against this?
I mean, his fucking approval his approval rating is tanking right now because of this
I know,
shit.
but who's
And I
against in
guarantee
the
We're
a lot of
talking
Republican
about
Party?
public
That's a
condemnation.
Republican. Who's against it?
there.
Because you got literally everyone saying that Gilmore should not receive due process. So who's against this? Which Republicans are mounting a resistance in Congress? Because that's what they should be,
That's
right? This is big government. They should
no,
be
sure, for sure.
setting up to impeach Donald Trump, but they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I think a large group of Republicans kind of just want to stand by their vote. And even though they might find a lot of the policy problematic, now I definitely think he should be, brought back to the U.S. That's my opinion is completely aside the point. I think there's a larger chunk of Republicans that don't appreciate being grouped in this fandom of a fascist regime, and then hear them. Yeah, I think it's a much larger spectrum than you're giving the party credit for.
I don't think it's that much more of a spectrum.
Like just saying
Wells
all
appreciate
Republicans are
it.
fascists. Like you think was Nixon a fascist? Was Bush a
No,
fascist?
no. Bush was a
No, and
neocon.
I think no, and I think like the fucking like the MAGA movement is awful, but I think we need to establish that it is a separate movement entirely than classic like republicanism.
It's really not. It's really not. The party that you're talking about being it's gone. It's gone. We've watched
For
this
sure.
what's called accelerationism. We've watched rapid accelerationism towards fascism in the Republican Party. And this is what happens. This is what happens across the fucking literally any fascist spectrum you go to. Fascists need people to vote for them. They need people to help them get power, and so they pick a group. And it just so happens that it's always conservatives. And so those conservatives, why? Because they share beliefs almost identically. Some may be more extreme than others, but they end up using them to get to power. We see it as a truism across history. And this is no different. Sean, appreciate it. Thank you. I'll read these off in just a second.
Well, I mean, look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have no problem admitting that. I'm sorry for wasting your time. I think there is a large group of Republicans that I know that, I disagree with them on a lot of fronts, but at least I can admit and, respect the fact that they detest a lot of what MAGA is doing. That's it.
I
think
know some
that's
of those Republicans, but it's not the norm.
Many of them are retired.
Many of them are older, and many of them voted for Kamala.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, but they can still identify as a Republican. But then when get on a larger platform and you say, "Oh, Republicans are fascists," and I'm like, "Well, I'm a Republican, but this
But
is
like
what this
pointing,
regime is doing is not."
but like pointing to a group that's not the norm, that's not a subset, that's not doesn't make up the large portion of what Republicans support, as going, well, not all Republicans, doesn't take away from the fact that the majority of them do. Right? The problem is not the ones that don't. The problem is the ones that do.
Well, and I think a larger
Wells,
chunk of them are
appreciate it.
probably just
Thank you.
not necessarily agreeing with what's going on in the current regime, but because they made their vote and they don't want to. A lot of people have a problem admitting they're wrong, and probably will just not say anything or not care about what's going on, which is problematic in itself. But I wouldn't. And yes, silence is condoning, which is, yeah, I can agree with you there. I think there even people who don't identify as Republican, or like a centrist person, or libertarian, or however the hell you feel about anybody who doesn't align with your party, might have voted for him but don't really agree with a lot of his policies, just didn't like Kamala as much. And then putting,
Tom,
you voted for a rapist, so you're a fascist. And it's just an extreme that I don't know. I don't agree.
Tom, can I ask you a question, man?
Yeah,
If
for sure.
if there were five Republicans sitting at a table in a restaurant having dinner, and a Yahtzee, a whole ass full uniform Yahtzee came up and sat down with them, and those five Republicans did not protest him sitting with them. They didn't get up and walk away. To everybody else in that restaurant, how many Yahtzees are sitting at that table?
No, that's a good point.
There's six. There's six Yahtzees having dinner together. I don't care if one of them's MAGA and one of them's a Republican and one of them's a centrist and one of them's a libertarian and one of them's a Yahtzee. There's six Yahtzees there.
I mean, I guess to a degree. I mean, you can also just maybe want to respect somebody's, you know.
We don't respect Yahtzees, bro.
No, we don't. We don't. My point is that if I sat,
that's not an option.
If a Republican sat down at a table with six fucking socialists, does that mean there's six socialists?
Yes. To everybody else in that room, there are six socialists sitting there.
Or just five socialists wanting to be able to, respect their friend who's a Republican. I don't really play with identity politics like that.
I
You're a
think he's
centrist.
making the point very clearly that I would say that number one, a Republican and socialist are in no way, shape, or form remotely close to the extremism of a Nazi. So
Right. Well, that's
therefore
my
it's
point
not
against extreme.
comparable.
I think
So
making the extremist argument is kind of beating a dead horse at this point, and people
I
don't take it
don't.
seriously.
I mean, it's not my problem if you don't take it seriously. I'm pointing out aptly what's going on in America right now, which is fascist accelerationism, and if you don't agree with it, well, then you're just waiting. You're just waiting for the trap. And especially when MAGA's like, "Oh my God, we have to prevent all of these things from the left on every single level because they're extreme." Fuck, they say happy holidays, and that stuff doesn't bother you, which is weird. That none of that stuff bothers you, but somehow me pointing
What
out
point
that
did I
they're
say
a
none of it was?
fascist
What
is.
point did I say that? What point did I say none of that stuff was bothering me?
Well, I think it's interesting because that's most of the Republican platform right now, is it not? Look at how extreme the left is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I think, yeah, generally, it's very obvious to me how much more polarized the country is, and I think when everybody on each side is like, Kamala's a communist, or Trump's a Nazi, or it's just, I don't think it helps anybody. I really don't.
So when is it appropriate to accurately label somebody a fascist? At what point?
I don't think there's anything wrong with labeling Trump as a fascist. I don't. I think that's patently true. He checks all the 14
All
tenets.
right.
What I have a problem is
Okay.
Okay.
my problem is when you just call anybody who voted for him also a fascist, even if they find a lot of his policies problematic.
Fascist adjacent. Aaron has paid to move on. Time for Tony Polisi to come back. Aaron, appreciate it. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Aaron? Final thoughts?
I'll just dip. I don't want to waste anybody's time, and I don't know. I feel like I made my point. If you disagree, that's cool. I don't mind.
All right, take care.
Well,
He's a fascist. Just don't point it out. Aaron, appreciate it. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Aaron? Aaron with the 30, paying to kick. Appreciate it, Aaron. And Wells, appreciated it. There were people in the 1930s Germany who did the same. The guest is doing it by downplaying it. Yep. Aaron and Wells, appreciate it. Thank you. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for you guys? If you want to support, there's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. You also can help out with the various different goals on here, which just help us get out on the For You page and get some debates. And that would be cool. Yeah, if you guys want to double tap the screen, would appreciate it if you're over on YouTube. Hit that like button. It's free to do over on YouTube. It's the freest thing you can do. There's 150. Hit that like button. Leave a comment, interact, help get some people in here. Would appreciate it. Is this person debating?
Let's find out. Oh no.
BTS.
No.
No, but is it okay if I can chill here?
No.
No, it's all right. We're just looking for a debate, but appreciate you coming in.
Sorry.
Who's that? Huh? What?
What?
Oh.
I don't know who they are. They're just not debating.
Oh.
Marty.
Not connecting. Anybody want to hop on in the box? Would appreciate it. Sean, appreciate the 5, bro. It's been 10 years. MAGA is the Republican Party at this point. Yeah, it really is. I mean, they're hand in hand with their fucking belief systems. Sean, appreciate it. Thank you for the 10 over on YouTube. Yeah, it really is. And what's going to happen is when this all fails, they're all like, this is a commonality across human history. They will literally be like, I wasn't even that involved with it. That was the other guys. I wasn't them. It's terrible. Like, whoops. Break something, Josh?
I had something break in the house. Hold on.
Like, who is it? Who was the dude that wrote the Cornerstone speech? Was it Douglas?
You hear me?
Hello? Yeah, Marty, what's up?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you debating?
So I guess my question is if China is owning Trump, yes?
Yeah.
I have a few questions. Yeah, I'm debating. So why do we currently have a 30% tariff on them and they have only 10% on us? Why did they came to the table when they clearly said in the beginning that they will not negotiate under these circumstances?
So they had a 20%, they actually had 20% less tariffs on the United States. So they went across the board with a 115% reduction. So that's how they ended up with it. Both parties.
Yes, but now they have only 10.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean we're winning. That means we're paying more in tariffs than they are.
I was.
That means we're paying more for our goods than we are.
So why were they scared from our tariffs in the first place?
They weren't.
What are you talking about?
That's why they doubled
They
down.
literally
on
matched
this.
us with 125%.
Yeah, why would they do that if we are paying the tariffs?
Why would they do?
What's China's problem?
Because 145% would crash the global economy in the matter of a few months. That's why they both backed down on it. And Donald Trump said it was too much. Donald Trump said he went up too much.
So why would they add more tariffs to crash even more the global economy?
What?
If they are afraid from a crash. Why would China add some more tariffs to even more crash the global economy?
What do you mean
If they
more
are-
tariffs?
if they are
They
afraid from
reduced
that,
it
not
from
afraid.
they reduced it from 125% to 10%.
No, I'm asking why did they retaliate in the first place? If they are afraid from crashing the global economy.
Because they weren't going to show the United States that they were scared, that they would in fact respond.
So why did they show
don't
that
need
they are
anything
scared
from
now?
US. They
They're
didn't.
not showing that they're scared. Trump came to them and
Yes.
asked them to reduce it. And actually, in the days previous to this deal, Trump outright
Okay.
admitted that 145% was too much. Dabs, listen, stop
to,
spamming my fucking chat. It's not funny. It wasn't funny the first 15 fucking times you said it. It's not going to be funny the next 15 times you say it. Shut the fuck up and go make a friend. Go ahead, Marty.
so two things. If they are not afraid, they said in the beginning that they are not coming to negotiating table under these circumstances, and they came. Yes, they said that they are not ready to
No, Trump
negotiate.
said that.
Trump said from the beginning that he wants to make a deal. China said we are not going to be coming to the table under these circumstances, under this 145 tariffs, and they did.
Where did they say they weren't going to be coming to the table?
They said it all the time. We are
Where?
not negotiating.
Because that's not what I read.
What did you read?
That China said that they'd be willing to work with the United States, but it was getting ridiculous.
Well, this was later on.
My audio's cutting out? What?
I'm saying
Is it
this
still
was later
cutting out?
on. Not.
Dark, let me know. What?
I'm saying this was later on. They retaliated because they said they're not going to make a deal. They're not going to be intimidated by the United States.
They said they're not going to be intimidated, but they'd be open
Yes,
to
and
working with them. Yeah.
Later on.
Okay, this is a
Not in the
weird hill to
beginning.
die on. Is this the only
This
point you
is-
have in this regard?
No, I'm not seeing how you say that China is winning this trade war when they currently drive their tariffs to 10 and we drive it only to 30.
They're clearly
means that-
winning the trade war. They're clearly
How?
winning a trade war. Because the rest of the
How?
world is looking
Explain.
at them. Answer that phone first.
He's at a Russian call center.
Want to take that?
Yeah. Putin's calling
How?
answer.
Explain me how.
Awesome.
How are they winning?
So, right, because all of the countries that we're targeting are turning to China for manufacturing and production.
So why did
all
they
of them.
come? So why did they come to negotiate with the U.S. if they don't need us?
Why did the U.S. negotiate with them?
Why did China came to the negotiating table if they don't need us?
China's been trying to come to the negotiating table. It was Trump that was just
Why?
screaming off
Why-
numbers.
why-
And why do you say us? You're not
Why-
American.
I am. Why bothering
Where are you
themselves
from?
to negotiate? New York,
Which part?
New York. Where originally?
upstate New York,
Where originally?
New York.
You were not born in New York.
Moscow, New York.
I was.
What
born
time is it in New York?
12:50.
They're used to that question, man. Hey, what's the
That's
area
true.
code? The phone number, area code for the phone number you have?
What's your business?
Yeah. That's they've learned the time zones. They've got that. They've got that up on their computers. They know what time.
Do you have
it is when
another
they say.
question about New York?
You don't know the
Yeah, who's
area
your
code for
governor?
the phone numbers though.
It's Hochul. It's cloudy right now in New York.
Where is your accent from?
From my father.
Be real.
Country of origin.
Where was your father from?
Also New York.
Buddy.
If China don't need the U.S.,
Buddy.
why are they negotiating
No,
right now with the
buddy.
U.S.?
Buddy. Where
You
are
want to
from?
talk about China? I told you
He's
New York.
Israeli? Might be.
What's so funny?
Who says something is funny?
You're laughing.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
I don't think it's Russian, by the way.
That's fair. I'm not the best at accents.
I don't think it's Russian.
Isn't
Some of it Arabic, and
isn't
I'm
the
kind
U.S.
of-
the
I'm
number
kind
one
of in that
consumer from
camp.
China?
I'm kind of in that camp. It sounds Middle Eastern, yeah. Syria, maybe? No, I don't think
Syria and Russia are close. Not dialectically.
Some cadences are similar. So, like, Israeli has a very Russian style cadence to it. Similar thing with Middle Eastern. It's similar, but it's not Eastern European.
So how's China
You're gonna
owning
tell
Trump?
everyone. You're gonna tell. Why do you keep trying to do this? Where are you from?
I told you New York.
You're not from New York,
You
bro.
lied though.
But it's cloudy
I told you
there.
I told, yes, it is. I told that you want to explain me how China is owning Trump.
Buddy, when you stop lying to me about where you're from, then maybe we can continue this conversation.
I'm not lying.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not lying.
Well, I don't
No,
know
I'm
why
not.
you think. I talk to people around the world frequently. I know for a fact you're not fucking born in New York. That's not an upstate accent, number one. Not even fucking close. Literally not
Okay,
fucking
bro,
close.
bro, you're right about my
He's
accent,
trying
but I
harder.
can tell you, you are right about my accent, but I can tell you
I know I'm
100% I
right
was
about
born
your
in New York.
accent. And you're sure as
Yes, you
fuck
are
not
right.
didn't
And
you
and
sure as fuck
and
didn't
and
get
and,
bleed
and
over from
but
Quebec.
but but you don't know the right answer to my accent. You think I was not
The
born here?
right
I
answer to
was
your
born here.
accent?
You, yes, you don't have the right answer where
It's
I get this
probably
accent from.
Israeli. It's probably Israeli, if I had
No,
to guess.
I
If you're
I was
actually in New
Apparently, you
York.
I
follow a
wasn't
bunch of Israeli creators.
I wasn't born in Israel. Yes, I love Israel, but I wasn't born in Israel. I was born in
That's
New
fine.
York. My father was born in New York. My mother was born in New York. Even my
Where
grandparents
do you
was
have
born
dual
here.
citizenship? In Israel?
I, I don't have. I don't have dual. I'm an American
Could you say
citizen. What's
something?
your problem with dual citizenship?
Could you say something
I
in
don't have a problem
Hebrew?
with it.
Yes, I can. I
Okay,
don't
go
know
for it.
Hebrew, but I can say a few words.
Okay.
Should I say something in Hebrew?
Mm-hmm.
מה נשמע? מה קורה? איך אתם?
Mm.
Poland.
You done with this?
Yeah.
Can we go back to China?
What if they lose? Can I ask that?
Do we really want to talk to him? I mean, I
Yes.
don't really want to deal with the liar.
Millions of manufacturing jobs.
Millions of manufacturing jobs?
Yes, their whole
actually
economy is depending on ours. We are their biggest consumer.
they actually already set up programs to
China
help
was a
people that were
nobody.
unemployed.
Yes.
They set up programs to help people that were unemployed.
How long do you think a country can function on that?
I mean, considering
need
the
to have an
tariff
Theirs
economy.
better
policy is
than
only
ours.
2 months or
Theirs
so.
better.
Then
Theirs better than ours.
they need to have an economy, and their whole economy is based on manufacturing. If they don't have manufacturing, they have nothing.
It's not their. I mean, it's not
China
their whole
was
economy. But it's a
China.
big portion of their economy. But we're not the only people that they manufacture for.
Yeah, but we are the biggest.
We're
They can't
We're not
replace
the only
us.
people they manufacture for, though.
30% is a lot. Is a lot. They can't replace
Yeah.
us.
But
Okay,
you know,
let's look at it
what's
this way.
A lot more. The 87% of the rest of the world. That's a lot more.
Okay. Okay. Well,
And
30% is still a lot.
They're go ahead, Tommy. Sorry.
No, you're right. Go ahead, Josh.
They're also a part of BRICS, which
Okay.
is very similar to the G7, except the G7 only holds about 20% of the world's whole GDP. BRICS holds over 50% of the world's GDP, and they're going to whatever we don't pick up on the manufacturing end, they're going to pick up to cover. That's part of that's part of what they've been doing. When China comes in and builds ports for Brazil and South Africa and all these other countries, that's kind of what they're doing. They're in cahoots with each other, and they're going to bail them out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So which why is the U.S. China's biggest consumer in the first place? Why we?
Because we don't manufacture.
Can you explain that? Why are we their big?
I don't think we're even their biggest. I think we
Why are we
represent. I thought
the
we
most
represent.
from China's products?
I thought we represented 16% of their production.
I think it's 13. I might be off, but
Yes, we are the
It
biggest
might be
consumer.
13. 13%. So let's look at it realistically,
Why
okay?
why didn't they why didn't they send all of their products to Brazil and Russia in the first place?
Why did
Why
they
to the
send
United
all their
States?
products? What? Because, well, the United States
Yes.
is buying it, but that 13% is
Yeah.
not going to hurt their economy. Hold on, it's 13% of their manufacturing economy, by the way. So it's not like it's 13% of their entire economy. Ours is literally
So
how
so
we prop our entire economy up. So if we don't have stuff to sell, we don't have business growth, right? If
oh,
we don't have,
you think the United States was out of business before China?
yes, yeah, I think that's
Yes.
crystal. That's not even. I don't think
So
that's debatable.
so
Yeah,
we didn't have an economy in 1920 and 1930 and 1940 and with 1980 we didn't have anything. China didn't have anything before the United States.
I don't know what that means, but China definitely would need less
What
resources.
specifically?
So I can't even finish a thing here. China would need
Yes,
less
China.
resources to prop their economy up
Yeah.
while we're in the middle of a
Do,
trade war. That's just
do,
a fact. They
do,
would need less resources.
do you know that China was a nobody before the United States? They were actually a very
And
poor
it
country.
doesn't.
Do
And
you
where
know
are they
that?
It's
now?
irrelevant.
Where are they now?
It's
Because of
irrelevant
us.
now.
We build them.
Yeah,
It is that
Okay,
It's
so
way
what does that
irrelevant.
have
because
to
if
do with
we
today's politics?
if we stop to
What does
consume
that
their
have to do
products,
with I just
they
said?
have no money.
We can't
They
stop.
listen. We
Yes, we
they
can.
produce
We can. We
50. Listen, they produce 55% of all the goods made on Earth. Okay,
okay.
we make up a small portion of that. A small portion of that. Right? We make up a small
Not
portion of their economy. If we
large
get into
enough
a
to
trade
hurt them.
war, if you can't listen, you gotta go, man.
Yes.
Stop talking, dude.
Corey, appreciate the 10. Thank you over on YouTube for the kick pool. Could we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Corey Dark? Appreciate it for the $2. Thank you. They need less money to support their workers than we would need. Why? Because theirs, they're going to have people out of work, but we're going to have entire distribution industries. We're going to have entire trucking firms. We're going to have warehouses and those people being unemployed. Really, trade in this country props up our economy. And if we don't have
So
it,
so
then it's going to decline. China will
so
absolutely come out on top here. Like there's no question. So I'm not really
so
sure what your argument is here because Trump got nothing for this trade deal. Trump ran to the table and said, "Make us a deal." I don't know what your argument
this
is.
wasn't a trade deal. This was a pause to
Let
start
him finish it.
negotiations.
You're like a little chihuahua sitting there shaking, just can't wait to fucking talk. He's so. Let him finish what he's saying. Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
man.
you might be right about that. I'm saying that this wasn't a trade deal. This was a pause
We
to start
know.
negotiations.
That was the first point that I made when we started this live. This is not a trade deal,
Yes,
nor is it
yes,
sustainable
I
in
agree
a
on
long-term matter.
I I agree on that. This was more like the 90-day pause that we did with other countries.
Yes,
But
it's a
we left the
temporary
30%
tax increase.
but we left the 30% tariff in place.
I'm
Which is a
aware.
30% tax on us.
Right.
No, it's not.
$28,000 per household by the end of the year.
Don't say no,
No,
it's
it's
not.
not.
Jesus.
How is it not?
You have no data to back that up.
To back what? Is a tariff not a tax?
It is a tax on China.
How is it a
Tariff is
tax
also
on
known as
China?
an import tax.
Retaliatory tariffs would be a tax on China, which
Because
they're paying
because
lower of than we are.
so why are they retaliating?
I'm asking you, is a tariff not a tax?
Yeah, it's a tax on China.
A retaliatory
I
tax
can
would
ex-
be a tax on China, which is
I
10%.
can ex-
We are paying
I can ex-
30%, which is a higher
I can
tax.
I can explain you how it's a tax
No,
on
you
China.
can't. You
No.
cannot
I
explain
can.
how a tariff is a tax on China without first
Yes, I
saying that
can.
that's a retaliatory tax. Retaliatory taxes
No,
would be
no,
taxes on them.
no. Because when we put tariffs on China, they will have to. Their
We-
manufacturing factories will have to lower their profit margins to stay in business.
Okay, and when they put tariffs on
If
us, who
not, if
pays? Then when they put tariffs on us, who pays?
us,
Okay. Right now, the tariff from Chinese imports is 30%. That
Our
is not
tariff on
something
China
that
is
they
30%.
pay. We pay that. Consumers pay the tariff cost.
No, that's not true.
Yes.
What do you mean
Everybody
no?
How
takes a
would the
portion.
nation absorb that?
The consumer takes a portion, the big corporation takes a portion, and the manufacturer
No,
takes
they
a
don't.
portion.
No,
Everybody
they
take.
don't.
Of course they
You'd
do.
have to
No,
show
they
us where a
don't. They're under
corporation
no
who has a fiduciary
obligation.
It's got
responsibility,
you you think
Hold on, Marty. I was in the middle of words coming out of my mouth. A
you are angry
corporation
today.
who has a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders within the corporation, their job is to make more profit at all times. That's the purpose
Yes.
of capitalism. Right. So for you to say capitalists aren't going to be capitalists all of a sudden, is you would have to show me historically where that happens.
Yeah. So why didn't they have these high prices in the first place?
Hey,
Why
Marty,
didn't
can
they
you
raise the
show
You're
me
prices
asking
in the
why
first
they
place
didn't have
before
high
the tariffs?
prices prior to the tariffs? I think you just answered your own question.
Yes. Can you answer that question?
I just did.
If they
you
want to
don't get
charge this
Hey,
price
Marty,
because
you
it's
don't get
more
to ask me a
profitable, why
question
didn't they have this price in the first place?
Because they didn't have tariffs.
This is fucking wild. This is wild. Why do you get to not ask?
You just
answer
walked
questions?
right
You
into
just get
that.
to continuously ask them. This is wild, dude. So I'll ask you again. Can you ever show me where corporations take the hit on tariffs, where the manufacturers take the hit on tariffs, and then they break it up to the consumers? Can you show me anywhere that's ever happened? You're on mute now. It's been peaceful.
Trump's 2018 tariffs. Did the price from steel go up in 2018?
Did you answer Josh's question?
Yeah. Yes. Trump's 2018 tariffs. Did the price from steel go up in 2018?
Josh, what was your question?
Yeah,
For him
the
to
price on steel
understand.
and the price on agriculture was subsidized by the government. So we paid that in taxes.
Only agriculture.
Marty, we paid that in taxes.
And it was from retaliation tariffs, not from the Trump tariffs.
Hey, Marty.
Did the price from
Corporations
steel go up in 2018?
absorbing the tariff
Yes.
costs
Yes.
and not passing them on.
Yes. Yes, because they don't want their sales to drop. If they raise the prices, their sales are going to go down and they're going to
Cool.
lose
Show me
much
where it's
more
ever
money.
happened before.
Your argument is that they absorb those costs.
Trump's
They
2018
don't
tariffs.
pass them down. Right, which increase steel cost.
Tell me when tariffs raise prices.
Every time.
Soybean, steel, the 2019,
Can you give an
2018.
example when tariffs raise prices?
Yeah,
Yeah,
BYD.
Did the price from steel go up in 2018?
Yes.
No, it didn't.
Boring.
Yes, it did.
Boo.
100 to 200 per ton on imported
Where?
steel cost.
Boring. Boo.
Maybe for temporary.
Ugh.
You know it didn't go up.
It did
Oh
go
my
up.
God, dude. You're wasting our time.
Okay.
For example, a
Corey.
$600 per ton imported coil became $750 post-tariff, incentivizing U.S. producers to charge $800 to $900 more. Even exempted
Gesundheit.
countries such as Canada until May 2019 faced uncertainty, reducing import flows and boosting prices.
Corey, appreciate it for the 10 for part of the kick pool, and then Karmic, appreciate with the other 20 for we do not care. I don't know what's going on with this thing.
We do not care.
Do you think he was a
There we
paid
go.
troll?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm sure we've come across
Corey,
them.
appreciate
We
it.
hear a lot
Thank
about
you. Karmic, appreciate it. Thank you as well. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for them? Sean, appreciate it for the 5. Making arbitrary statements about other countries doesn't make it true. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. And I hope my audio's not cutting out anymore over there. I'm allergic to BS. You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right I am. You're goddamn right I am. So I mean, let's be real. He wasn't born in. I mean, he could be born in New York, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Especially like, so he's saying that he was. Was he saying his dad was Jewish, right? I could see that if he spoke Hebrew, right? But he's like, I can't
I don't
speak
know, other
Hebrew, so
countries-
that's.
Other countries are typically they're bilingual. They do that a lot. So I don't know, man. When he said dual citizenship, that's if you're Jewish, you're instantly a citizen of Israel,
Of Israel, yeah.
no matter where you're born in the world. So he could be a citizen here and instantly get dual citizenship there.
I don't know. Andreu appreciated Trump dozes off in Saudi Arabia meeting. If tariffs are raking it in, where's the infrastructure overhaul? Tariff revenue should fix our crumbling airports and outdated air traffic control systems. Andreu, appreciate the 10 over there. Could we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? Appreciate it. Yeah. So this is actually, it has like the correlation that it has is not as inverse. So like, the more we get taxed in terms of a sales tax, which is what tariff is a national sales tax, the less we're able to spend, right? Because unlike what Republicans and MAGA thinks, you can't just pull money out of thin air. So like most Americans have a budget, right? Like there's very few of us that don't. And so they can spend X amount. And if you're able to buy, it won't be 10%, but let's say it's if we have a 30% import, let's say we're paying 15% more on the price of goods. It means we're able to buy 15% less, right? We're able to buy 13% less. Could also be higher depending on what the margins are, but it's going to go up, right? And you can believe they're going to charge more because they don't want to get stuck footing a bill if tariffs continue to go up. So, but let's say it's 15% more. That means we're going to be able to buy 15% more. That means the amount of actual goods being sold is reduced. That means the amount of money made by shops is going to go down, which means they're going to have to charge more. So the price of goods is going to go up. They also are going to have to pay people. You can't be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're cutting the amount of money you're making this year. People would quit. So you're going to have to charge more for that. You're going to have less money in the economy, all things considered. So you're going to have to charge more money to make up for this 15% loss that you're claiming. So, by the time Americans get done, maybe it's 20%, maybe it's 30%. And then the more it goes up, the more decline you're going to have. A 30% tariff on China is not a small thing. That's a big, big, big thing for the economy. We're just so used to oh my God, it's down from 145%, but it's like, if 100% of your body is on fire versus 30%, one's worse. They're both really bad. So, anyway, if you were opposition, hop in the box. We have Dre. I don't know if Dre's debating. We have Kit.
Yeah, man. Do you ever feel like Donald Trump goes to work and his
If you're
coworkers
debating.
don't like him? They're really, really mean to him, and he just comes home and gets drunk and beats the kids. Like, where are the kids?
Well,
Where
he
are the
does that
kids?
without getting drunk.
I think about that all the time. He literally.
The other
just
world
beats
leaders
us.
were mean to me today.
All the world leaders were me.
Eric, get your ass in here.
You're getting it today, son. God damn it. Eric, you fucking vampire, get in here. You fucking vampire. Oh, man. Anyway, a second. Just need to win the lotto. That's it. That's all I need to do. Someone wins the lotto,
That'd be
don't forget
nice.
about me. But if you guys want to double tap the screen, comment, interact, see if you can get some people in here to debate, would appreciate it. That'd be cool.
I'm actually rich. I'm a multimillionaire. I just never told you guys.
You bastard.
I
You've been holding out on
I
us.
could believe it.
Don't tell anybody else, though.
I could believe it, especially my wife. Sorry, I know you guys have a better relationship than that. I just thought it was a funny joke. We got Zach.
Wait, I missed it. What'd you say?
I said,
I
"Dude,
missed
just
it.
don't tell my
Was
wife.
it good? Oh, yeah. I stole it all from her.
She don't know. She doesn't know. Don't tell my wife. What's up, Zach?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
What's happening? What's your take?
Hey, so I guess my only question is, I'm not like the smartest guy, know all the facts and details and whatnot, but can you just tell me simply, I guess, is the tariff deal that Trump just got with China better or worse than what we had before, previously?
Worse.
How's
It's
it
not
worse?
even a deal.
What is the difference, I guess?
The difference is we're paying 30% higher in tariffs than we were 5 months ago.
What were we paying before?
I don't know what our collective total against Chinese imports is, but I think it was like 5 collectively. It also depends on industry because some of the industries we have significant tariffs on, but like just consumer goods, I thought it was like 5 or something like that. It wasn't very high at all. I'd have to look, but we're paying an additional 30% to whatever we had.
Because I thought we were at like 60% or 70% before. Now it's just dropped to 30.
No, he pointed to a graph and said this is how much we're paying in tariffs, and the graph was of like the trade imbalance between the two countries.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Which I think is also probably a little important, no? To have not a magnificent, imbalance.
I mean, sure, but it has to do with whether or not the country is willing to buy what you're selling. So, I mean, if they are, then yeah, but
what if we what if we were able to try to convert some of that manufacturing into the United States so that we don't have to get it from China as much?
Well, we'd have to subsidize those industries, which, as it stands right now, there doesn't seem to be a concentrated effort to do so. And which industries are we focusing on?
I guess, manufacturing in general, right? Like manufacturing goods,
Yeah, but what exactly? I mean,
Like
most nations aren't asking for our
everything.
aglets and paper clips.
Like countertops, cabinets, solar panels, batteries, everything. You know what I mean?
Would other nations be more likely to purchase those if it's at a exorbitant
we would.
cost? We would?
Yeah, because I think obviously we'd have to hire people to work those jobs, which would increase money going into our economy, giving us more money to be able to buy things, right? A little bit.
It's also a matter of
there has to be
resources and
somewhat of
labor. I
balance.
mean, there's an 8 million person labor shortage as it stands right now. Where do those people come from? And
Money.
you'd have to incentivize people to move out of other sectors of work right now in order to lead those fronts, which right now I don't know that there is an active effort to do so.
No, because the pay sucks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the pay sucks, and especially because lower wages. We hire a lot of, I guess, not illegal immigrants, but like foreign immigrants that we give visas, temporary visas, work visas to work here, and that has shown obviously to lower wages for American workers.
Can
Not
I
that
ask
I'm
why
against that, but
we're in 2025? We're on
Yeah.
the precipice of artificial intelligence and like self-driving cars, high-speed travel, and you want to focus on manufacturing paper clips instead of
no, I didn't say
like
paper. I said everything.
not AI and technology. I think that's where we need to focus.
Well,
We can
have
allow
to
for the
you have to
we
manufacture
can allow
parts to use
holy
AI.
shit.
I'm sorry. I just feel like you're
Are
taking
you
it out of
done?
context here, right? To be able to
No,
create
I'm
computers
100%
that
not.
run
You said
on, you have to
You
manufacture.
said everything. You said everything, correct?
Yeah, everything.
So we're going to be in need of all the little things that we get for really cheap from other countries instead of building factories and focusing our attention on stuff like the aglets and the paper clips and the red plastic cups that we don't need to focus our factories and attention on. We can literally take that and use that for education on our civilians, get them smart enough, and we can be a technology country instead of focusing on a manufacturing for silly shit.
We already
can
are.
manufacture art. What?
We already are like the leader in technology
We
in
are-
the world. We
Yeah,
literally,
cool.
we
So
literally
why do you
design-
want to go? Why do you want to go back to manufacturing paper clips
'cause
then?
we rely on China for our manufacturing, which is kind of a scary,
Yeah.
thing to be
Because
reliant
they
on.
have the labor to do so. We don't.
They have the slave labor.
That's-
So you guys are supporting going back to slave labor?
No, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm obviously not. That's why I'm
No.
against,
So
manufacturing
it's
in China.
what you
because
look at
they're
as slave
unethical and
labor.
they're slave labor.
Okay, what you look at as slave labor literally allows them to survive because their quality,
They're
cost of
what?
living is a lot cheap. Their cost of living is a lot cheaper than what we have here. So that's why you look at it as slave labor, right? If they need to improve their labor laws, that's a different conversation. But America has more slave labor than any other country in the world.
Yeah, I'd argue.
Why
I
would
would
you call
agree
that
with
out?
that in terms of the incarceration slave labor that we practice here in the United States. I'm not ignorant to that.
Okay.
I'm also not ignorant to the fact that China open slave labor that we benefit off of.
They have something to offer that we don't.
Like what? Their propaganda?
1 billion people.
Okay. And we have AI that we can
And a
start
better
using
educated
utilizing to
workforce.
manufacture, no? Like
The
you said.
problem is
AI can't manufacture right now.
Yes,
not,
it can.
Not to the quality that no,
Oh,
not
no,
to the way
obviously
that
not
we
not 100%, but a lot of it
Right,
can be
so let's
automated
focus on
the
that.
problem.
and AI.
The problem is AI is not going to be a save-all for what we have to do in this country, and it shouldn't be relied on as such. And predominantly because, here's the thing, like, what can AI really do for you, right? It can operate logistics, run logistics, it can make it pretty effective, right? China's not lagging that far behind in us, but like, what are the applicable things that you can do with it? You can implement it into creating various different plants and the logistics for it. You can implement it into, your transportation delivery systems. It can analyze and determine where you can cut stuff out and et cetera, et cetera. It can create, various different streamlined processes. Sure, like, but all of the implementation of what this could do on a manufacturing level really would not be that much of a or not that much of a benefit to us, because China has the ability to implement it more quickly. So sure, we could develop it quickly, but they could implement it into their plants, implement it into their processes, even their permitting process, the list goes on, quicker than we could. So
Not
even if
necessarily.
they're
It's
lagging
actually
behind
cheaper.
us, even if they're lagging behind us in AI, right? Like, I don't think that it's gonna be beneficial to us that they're a year or two behind.
See, I
I really
don't
think
think
that
it's
that's a
beneficial
detriment
to
to us.
rely on China. You get what I'm saying? Like I want to be more independent as a country. I don't want to be on the backs of China. I don't know why you guys want to be on the backs of China.
I don't, which is
No.
why we've been advocating for the Green New Deal and for creating infrastructure in this country for to export clean energy infrastructure systems. And the
Green New
Republicans
Deal
have
literally
killed it at
had
every.
the New Deal literally had regulations on smaller manufacturing plants that were harder to compete with the big breadwinners, the 1%. So are you guys in support of like the largest
It
1%
gave
corporations in the
7
United States or
trillion.
China, but
The
not the
plan was
medium-sized
for
companies?
7. The plan was for $7 trillion to be pumped into this country, into
Yeah,
clean
who do you
energy
think
and
that
renewable
goes to?
infrastructure systems and manufacturing.
Who
It
do you think
goes
that
to
goes to,
setting
though?
up and developing
I
manufacturing
get
in the
that, of
United
course, duh.
States.
But who does that go
Can you
to?
please stop interrupting?
You guys interrupted me
I
twice.
don't
It's
know
fine.
what you mean. Who does that go to? That goes to
Who does that
companies
money
in the
go to?
United States so they
Exactly.
have
Which
grant
companies?
writers.
Which
Why
companies?
are you if you
'Cause
can't
it's
stop, I don't know what to tell you.
You,
So it
you're
goes to
repeating
people that
yourself
write
in an attempt to
grants.
steamroll.
I'm not trying to steal it,
Yeah,
guys.
so
You
it
literally have
depends
me.
on
I
what
interrupted
company
you. It's
can
part of the
fulfill
conversation,
it.
right?
It
It's not
depends on
just
what
what
company
can
can
fulfill
fulfill.
it.
It's not just they
Brother,
hand it off to major corporations.
yes,
Major
they do.
corporations obviously have. Listen
100%.
for a
Who do you
second.
think lobbies
Please
the bill?
stop.
Listen.
Please stop.
Guys, it's so simple. Who?
It's too early for this.
You're about to go, man. Is about what's to happen. I'm not gonna put up with the steamrolling bullshit. So like I said, it doesn't have to do with the major multinational corporation. I'm sure a lot of them will get those things. It has to do with contract writing. So if there's a company working on something that's going to be beneficial to renewable energy, and they're the only one that does it, and they fulfill the grant, then yeah, sure. But you pointing out that all the money's going to there are major corporations that need serious reforms when it comes to their carbon footprint and how they do things. And this basically $7 trillion would set us up to fucking manufacture clean energy in the United States and sell it overseas.
So, dude,
And why we would be opposed to that, I don't know. And not only that, it would bring down manufacturing costs in the United States.
So, dude, will you allow me to respawn without interrupting me and accusing me of steamrolling, in which you just did?
I did not interrupt you, but sure,
You
go ahead.
absolutely did. You interrupted me twice, actually. So my
What
main
are you
argument to this
talking
is
about?
you literally interrupted.
Nah, bitch, fuck off. We'll take that one for free.
Dennis, appreciate the 2. Dennis, appreciate the 2. We'll take that. That's fine. Dennis, appreciate the 2. Anyone point out that Trump's fat friend is Elon? Appreciate it, Dennis. Andre, you appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for them? That's annoying. I literally am sitting here. I don't even think I was that involved in the conversation. I was just listening and waiting. And then he's like, you interrupted me twice. I'm pretty sure that's the second time he's been kicked for doing some weird shit.
Probably.
So, yeah. Yarp. We have Ryan Brenner.
Okay. I go back to bed after this. Ryan.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the last one.
Ryan.
Okay. It's comedic that every day Donald Trump says, I did something, and that thing makes it worse for Americans. And then they go, yeah.
And
Yeah,
then he
let's
reverses
go.
the thing.
And then he
Donald
reverses
Trump
it, and they're
just
like,
is-
look, the stock market went up again. You mean, why did it go down? Why did it go down?
It
Huh?
fluctuates.
Fucking delusional.
No,
Delusional.
Trump just instructed the Department of Justice to deprioritize white-collar crime.
Ah, just a casual embezzlement.
Yeah.
The casual embezzlement.
If you haven't done your taxes yet, just saying, they're not putting focuses on those kind of things anymore. Unfortunately,
order, right?
I think that's what's gonna. Dude, I saw this video. I think that's what's gonna happen. Like, I honestly think people are just gonna stop paying their fucking taxes.
Yeah.
Don't do that, by the way. Like, don't do that, especially if you're outspoken on the internet. Don't do that in general. I watched this video of this Trump supporter that was like, I'm not paying my taxes this year. And then I was like, I'm not reporting. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I watched, and everybody else in the comment section was like, haven't done it in 10 years. I was like, bro, that's how they fuck. They'll fucking come for your house. They'll come for fucking everything you own. Don't do that. Don't do that. Fucking insane. All right, we got any debates? Anybody else want to hop in the box? Like, all the comment section, I was like, you guys are fucking nuts. You're dumb. You're gonna fucking try and skimp out on the IRS? Best of luck. Nate, he won't join. They're always too scared. Just like the cry in the comment section. Will?
Anyone?
Yeah, Trump's been utilizing tax rolls as well as police departments. He's going back and utilizing unpaid fines, stuff like that. And when people show up to court, he arrests them and deports them. Somebody else in 1930s did that as well. They started arresting Jewish people for things like unpaid parking tickets and putting them in labor camps to pay off those debts. Those labor camps ended up being Auschwitz.
And they never paid off those debts.
Our camps, they're called CCOT. They're in El Salvador.
Anyone?
All right.
Calling it?
Someone just said we went from 3%. This guy's fucking dumb. This guy says we went from a 3% tariff to a 30% tariff. That's 10x. That would be Trump owning China. That's Trump owning us. That means you're paying 10 times as much in tax.
Mm-hmm.
You
They
didn't
can't explain
win.
it. If it's Chinese imports, then how would they be paying more? they have to pay more for stuff they send out, then what is a tariff? Make it make sense. Why would the country that sends stuff pay the import tax? They're the exporter.
You guys didn't pay attention watching Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. Or Schoolhouse fucking Rock. You see, a tariff is a tax that bites you in the ass. Yes, it does.
Maybe
Was that
that's what
the
we need.
end?
Schoolhouse Rock. Oh my God, that'd be actually a great thing. Trump House Rock,
Yeah.
and we just literally do an entire show about explaining shit to MAGA.
It's copyrighted, but yeah, I'm sure you can pull it off.
We can make a parody.
Is it copyrighted
record
now?
all of
I
it.
think it.
I'm sure. I don't know.
I
It's
think
PBS.
somebody owns it. Yeah. Is Schoolhouse
Let's contact
Rock.
PBS. They're already getting defunded
did you ever
anyways.
write-
They're gonna be able to sue us.
Did you ever write that bit down with Shaq being?
I'm
being
Shaq.
high?
Man, always been
Dude, I
this
told my
big.
wife about that, and then I let her listen to the recording you did in the mod chat. She started cracking up.
My hands
Fucking
are
balls,
huge.
Josh. It's fucking brilliant, man.
I'm like 12 feet tall. I'm gonna fall and bump my head in Michigan. I'm Shaq.
Man. I'm Shaq. God damn.
Damn.
Damn. All right. We got any debates? China just
No.
increased to 10%. That's only a 2% raise from what the U.S. Consumers will pay. We don't pay that. Oh my God. My guy. We don't pay that 10%. They do. Their consumers pay that. What the fuck? This guy's such an idiot. China
not
has
small.
to pay a 30%. Oh my God. You're fucking dumb. Oh my God. Oh
Is
my
that on
God.
YouTube?
They say shit so confidently. They think that China's paying 30%. That's the problem. Not that we're paying 30%. We're paying that 30%. I don't know how to make that any more fucking clear, but holy shit.
You raised your taxes
oh my-
30%, guys. That's what happened. If you buy it from China, you're paying a 30% tax.
Surprise.
It's not even a difficult thought process here.
Thought you guys were all about small government, less taxes. He tricked you.
Small government. Small government.
Oh well.
Oh my God. All right, we're gonna. If we don't have any other debates, we're gonna call it. Anybody want to hop in? Last chance.
I'm gonna
All right, if you guys want to support, you guys can help
Sweet.
out over here. We'll be back at 6 p.m. Pacific, and yeah, we'll be back at 6 p.m. Pacific, and hope to see you guys then.
All right. I might be late. I'm seeing that new Marvel movie. Thunderbolts, is it?
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
enjoy.
See you
We'll see you guys
later.
later.
Take
Have a good
care.
night.
All right, guys. I will see you later. Everybody take care.